He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Great way to kick off one tonight. My WWE Wall review tonight. Zack Attack is here. It's April 28th, 2014. The final wall before Extreme Rules. Very interesting wall tonight, and let's kick right off with what happened on Wall to begin with. Like you just saw me singing. He got the whole world in his hands. The whole intro involving John Cena, the Wyatt family. This whole Cena Wyatt feud's been very intense. The match has been okay. WrestleMania was good. Extreme Rules match, the Steel Cage match would be very interesting as well. And we would begin with Cena in that Steel Cage, surrounded by that Steel Cage. Talking about the whole entire WWE Universe turning their backs on Cena. Because it was St. Louis, Missouri, the home of War tonight. The night when John Cena got drafted to War back in 2005 was in St. Louis. Okay, some people love him, some people hate him, as we all know. And Cena talk about the new faces of the company. Or as I call them, guys who will get buried by John Cena. I mean, I always make fun of John Cena. I always like talking about his ego, about him not wanting to get anybody over. But hey, I think he's getting Bray Wyatt over. Yes, he beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But he got him over tonight, especially after what happened after Cena talked. The lights went out, and here comes a children's choir coming out to sing. He's got the whole world in his hands, And I love the variations. He got the whole sea nation in his hands. That's when Bray Wyatt came out during that portion. Just that whole effect. Just that whole scene and how it was perfectly executed. The way it was done with the entire choir surrounding the ring of Cena underneath that steel cage. And then they put on the goat masks. They put on the sheep mask. I saw the mask behind the back because there was an angle. You did see some masks behind the back. So I think you could kind of tell what they were trying to do and how they're going to accomplish that. Just the whole effect of that Cena being surrounded by all these goat faces, all these followers of the Wyatt family, and a little followers on top of Bray's lap, and Bray was giving out a big, sadistic, evil laugh. Let me say this, Bray Wyatt's just a brawler. But his promos, I've always been saying this for the last couple weeks, Bray Wyatt's a great promo guy. Since CM Punk's gone, I think Bray Wyatt's not become one of the best promo guys because his promos are creepy and scary. And they portray a mood. They get you in a mood. Whether you love or hate Bray Wyatt, he projects his character well. He knows how to push the buttons. He knows how to push the creepy button and the disturbing button. And tonight, he pushed those buttons to the extreme tonight. Pun the pun, and he told Extreme Rules with the choir, saying that song, and putting those goat masks around Cena. It's a whole, just the effect. The feeling that segment gave you was perfectly executed. The creepiness and just scary, especially on Cena's part. Being surrounded by all these followers of the Wyatts in his hands. And that was a very intense segment. It's probably one of my favorite segments of War. It was perfectly executed and it gave you an emotion. That's what WWE does. They play off your emotions and they know how to portray those emotions to you. Whether it's Taker losing in a streak or John Cena being surrounded by a bunch of Wyatt followers with their masks on, singing he's got the whole world in his hands. So, there you go. Now on to our first matchup following that little scary and creepy and awesome situation. I kind of loved it. Dug it. The Usos defending the tag team championships against Ryback. Solve. Of course, we find out. Ryback, Curtis Axel. Now, Usos would fly high early. But it was I don't know if this was storyline-wise or a real injury. The Usos, despite being pummeled early by Ryback, took care of business. They did a big double fly move off the top rope. But one of the Usos, Jay, landed gingerly on his ankle. I don't know if it's a real injury or a fake injury, but it looked kind of weird to me. You can't tell what's real or what's not anymore in WWE, or TNA for that matter, if you see my TNA reviews. So, with the Usos down, the Ryback Soul team took advantage of the one Uso being down. They isolated the other Uso, Jay, and is destroyed. And I think Ryback Soul's going to be an okay tag team. They had to gel a little bit, and Ryback Soul just isolated them and did some great double team moves. And the one Uso did try to and got the hot tag to the injured brother. Of course, referring to Jay coming down. And despite his injury, I'll give that Uso a whole lot of credit. Finding the endurance, having the endurance to fight through the injury, and coming out strong. And the ending was kind of cool. The ending was kind of a cool little ending. With the Usos doing the big double team moves, and of course the Ryback Soul team trying to get the win with the Axel dominated one of the Usos until the blind tag came in. Now Ryback Soul did some blind tagging, but the Usos did a blind tag. And Ryback Soul, Curtis Axel didn't realize it. So as Curtis was setting up the perfect plex, he didn't nail the perfect plex, trying to go for that pin. But as he tried to realize he did not know he had the right guy, the other Uso, the legal Uso, came up the top rope with a big splash and a 1-2-3 victory for the Usos. A very good matchup from these two teams. I thought there'd be some sort of screwy ending to make these two fight again at Extreme Rules for the tag team titles. That may still happen, even though it's not official yet. But it's an interesting matchup with Usos. I think Usos had a great match with the Ryback tonight, and with the effect of the match with the Uso getting injured. Whether it's true or not, I think these two could have a good feud. If they build this feud right, this could be a long-lasting feud. I think we haven't had great tag team feuds in a while. There was some great tag team rivalries, whether it's Hart Foundation and Demolition, or some great tag team rivalries. Brainbusters and Walkers was another great tag team rivalry. Shield and Riots, well, even though they weren't really tag teams, but they were units. That was a great feud. And I think Ryback Soul coming to their own scene with the Usos. And I think Ryback Soul could be a good foil, a good opponent, a good feuding partner with the Usos. So I think this feud could build up if WWE wants it to. The build-up could be very intense with these two teams. A decent tag team match to open up one tonight, following that interesting, awesome, but yet creepy and disturbing at the same time segment involving Cena and the Wires. Now on to the next matchup. Kind of a weird match involving Sheamus versus Titus O'Neil. Now Titus said it was going to be a new Titus O'Neil. He came out swinging early. As Sheamus came out, Titus beat him up outside the ring before the match even started. Really hanging it against the barricade. And Sheamus got in the ring, battered up, and beaten up from that attack. He got pummeled at the turnbuckle. But even though Titus wanted to be new, he wanted to be the new Titus. He ended up being the old Titus. Jobbed as usual. Because I knew that was coming. When after Titus got Sheamus in the ring and kind of isolated him in the turnbuckle after we tried not to disqualify him, took Titus off the turnbuckle when Sheamus was pummeled down. I was like, I smelt a bro kick from a mile away. Called it. I watched wrestling all my life, and I can kind of tell I have the instinct of what spot's being built up. Because I watched wrestling for too long. I can sense things. Because I sensed that after the referee pulled Titus O'Neil away from Sheamus in the turnbuckle in the corner, I knew Sheamus was going to get back up in an immediate brogue kick out of nowhere, and that's exactly what happened. 1-2-3 victory, a squasher for Mr. Titus O'Neil, losing to the brogue kick of Sheamus. Coming out of nowhere. Like I kind of sensed it. I sensed they were building it. So there you go. Now on to our next segment involving a man who I think should get pushed one day again. Tom Ziggler coming out to introduce his newfound friend after punching him out 2 years ago on Raw, 3 years ago on Raw. Tonight's guest star. Star of course, the new X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, of course, referring to Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman, coming out. Kind of making a truce with Mr. Ziggler. Then we had another guy who I believe should be pushed. But unfortunately, I think he got more demoted tonight. Damien Sandow. He came out in that Magneto outfit. God, they made him look fucking silly out there. The referees and all the fucking commentators were laughing their fucking asses off. Did you listen to the commentary? Jericho Lawler and Cole and fucking Jamie Others laughing their fucking asses off. God, I feel bad for Sandow. 6 months ago, he had the money in the bank briefcase. Now look what's fucking happened to him. He went from being a hopeful future world champion to being a punching bag for Hugh Jackman in a silly segment. It's just... God, applaud Sandow for tolerating it, but he needs to get pushed. Like Sandow and Ziggler both need to be pushed. Not being pushed into a hip toss by Mr. Jackman. It was a fun skit, but I still felt bad for Sandow, though. Anyway, on to our next matchup with Cesaro with his agent. He is the young man. He is the young man. He is the poet. Cuckoo Cuckoo. Mr. City is Klein being the Undertaker. We don't need to hear it any longer. I'm about as sick and tired of hearing Paul Heyman talking about the Undertaker streak ending than I am sick of hearing people chanting CM Punk. He's not coming back. I haven't heard it lately, but still, need to get that point out there. Or then I mentioned Paul Heyman's client, Brock Lesnar, beat the streak, conquered the streak. A lot of people, oh God, people on Facebook are doing that shit. They're like typing, Brock Lesnar, my client, Brock Lesnar, conquered the streak. A lot of memes, Facebook memes like that. Anyway, Cesaro came out to take on Jack Swagger in a rematch from SmackDown. Zeb Coulter and Heyman. I would like to see this match happen. Tag team match. Zeb Coulter and Swagger against Cesaro and Heyman. That may happen, especially we got to see a near altercation between Heyman and Zeb Coulter. They kind of shoved each other down kind of to a brawl outside the ring during the matchup, which was pretty good as Swagger was taking control. But then Distraction kind of distracted Swagger. He was being distracted by seeing Coulter and Paul Heyman having a shoving match. Big German suplex from Cesaro. With the distraction, 1-2-3 victory. Cesaro took advantage of that distraction, pinning Swagger in the interim. So there you go. But I think it's all on Swagger's feet. I think it's not over yet. I think it'll culminate to a match at Extreme Rules. Whether it's announced on SmackDown or not, who knows. But I'd like it'd be funny to see a tag team match involving Cesaro and Heyman against Swagger and Coulter. So there you go. Okay, little matchup. Shoving match. Distracted. Swagger. Boom. Victory for Cesaro. On to our next matchup. We saw the Ravishing Russian Lana, who was hot like I mentioned before. Of course, referring to her client, her friend, her confidant, whatever. The super athlete, the Bulgarian brute, Alexandra Rusev. NXT guy coming in, destroying, or trying to destroy, Consequences Queen. Xavier Woods. It didn't look like it was going to be a typical squash match for Rusev, destroying Mr. Woods early. It was a big devastating move, setting up for the accolade. But as they were setting it up, R-Truth came in, breaking the hold, causing disqualification. And Rusev's been looking dominant. That's what WWE does. He try to build these big guys, these big tough brutes, like Rusev, build them up, and then take them down to lose to somebody. Well, this may be the opportunity. This is the first time I've seen Rusev vulnerable. He got double team, should I say, by R-Truth and Xavier Woods, taking him off his feet, knocking him outside the ring. Now give Woods / Creed and R-Truth credit by really showing the double team work, and that's what they need to do in the handicap match this Sunday against Rusev. 2-on-1. Great double team moves. So R-Truth got the DQ loss, but still, they made a point about making Alexander Rusev's How about having his invincibility taken away? Just like that, making him look vulnerable for the first time in his WWE 1. Speaking of NXT people, next week we got goes referring to the music on the Exotic Express, landing on Raw next week, referring to the debut of Adam Rose. He's like 3MB with more credibility. Speaking of 3MB / the Job Squad, I don't think they can be the Job Squad anymore. I don't think I can call them that anymore. They may have some credibility again. I think since Hornswoggle caught in, it should be called 4MB. But Hornswoggle was at ringside to accompany 2 out of 3MB, referring to Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater, teaming up against Primo and Epico. Diego and Fernando Los Matadores, because being accompanied by El Torito. Now, ever since their feud started, I know a lot of people, including myself, were expecting a match at Extreme Rules. Probably for the first time ever, a match that deserves to be on the pre-show is on the pre-show. It's El Torito and Hornswoggle in a WLC match? What? You've got to be kidding. WLC? That'll be interesting to watch. What do you have? Little tables? Little tables, little ladders, little chairs. Oh my. We chairs, we ladders, we chairs. Oh my. Oh wee. Anywho, the reason why I said that 3MB, I keep calling him the Job Squad. I don't think they're the Job Squad anymore. They actually won! Who'd have thought to see the day that 3MB actually win a fucking match? With the help from the ongoing feud with Hornswoggle and El Torito, they got into a little brawl outside the ring. And Jinder Mahal got whammed by El Torito. Despite Los Matadores' great advantage, they couldn't do double teamwork in this comedic matchup. But of course, El Torito and Hornswoggle want a piece of each other. They want to get a piece of one another, get their hands on each other before their WLC match at Extreme Rules. And Jinder Mahal was in the middle of it, trying to break him up. He got speared, like I said, by El Torito. And that distracted one of the Los Matadores to get pinned by Heath Slater, causing 3MB to get their first win since... Insert joke here. Anywho, but 3MB weren't able to enjoy their victory for long, as Hornswoggle still wanted a piece of El Torito. But he got whammed by El Torito for good measure, should I say. So there you go. 3MB finally win a match. Insert joke here for the first time since insert joke here. So there you go. It's kind of funny to see him win something for once. You know? And Hornswoggle with El Torito, WLC, and Extreme Rules pre-show. Exclusively on the network. Now on to our next segment involving Stephanie McMahon trying to give her apology to D-Bry and Brie Bella. So D-Bry came out, and I knew, like Stephanie McMahon knew that she's trying to be all so sincere again. I didn't know that bringing out the Monster Kane would bring him to do this. Stephanie should have known better in the storyline about inserting Kane in this. And there's no more good heels left. So, what do you gotta do? Bring back the Monster Kane. You know what I mean? There's no good heels left. Maybe Bray Wyatt. It's the Solo, but they're not ready yet. You know, they're building them up to be the big guys, and I think they could eventually get a shot against Mr. Bryan. And I hope it ain't Lesnar getting a shot. I mean, rumors about Lesnar taking on D-Bry at SummerSlam. And speaking of Bray Wyatt, I need to insert one thing about Bray Wyatt very quickly. He does not need to turn babyface. I mean, rumors they may want to turn Bray babyface. Big mistake. Segments like that tonight ain't going to go over well if he's babyface. Anywho, D-Bry ain't believing and wasn't believing a word that Stephanie was saying about being sincere, about apologizing for D-Bry's attack He would have had none of it. No, no, no. And Stephanie's like, I know you don't believe me because I've been very vocal about trying to avoid you being world champion. WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So, she was trying to extend the olive branch even more by offering Brie Bella a matchup for the Divas Championship against Paige then and there. And Stephanie was trying to be more sincere by saying that Kane wasn't in the building. We saw camera angles throughout the evening show Kane's mask locked away in a case in Stephanie McMahon's office. But just before the Paige Brie Bella match started, Kane's mask disappeared from that case. So Kane would indeed be involved in this matchup involving Paige and Brie Bella. Of course, the Divas Championship will be on the line this Sunday against Tamina. Now, we saw Paige. I think it was the most offense I've seen of Paige yet. Paige was looking good in this matchup. Because he's been more on the defensive. More getting pummeled than coming back instead of just being on fire immediately and showing more offense. But as Brie Bella was showing more offense, fire hit. Here comes Kane's music. But Kane was underneath the ring, Hulk pulled out, trying to pull Brie Bella, and here comes D-Body to the rescue. But Kane took him down immediately, focusing on that neck. But then D-Body would take out Kane with a wrench. Monkey wrench, should I say. But Kane said, "Why back up?" And Kane chokeslammed D-Body to hell, trying to pull back Brie Bella into that hole, but Brie went out for her life as it depended on it. So interesting segment with the lighting and everything. The big red lighting. You know, more intense. Like I kind of made fun of the only guy that can get legitimately to feud with D-Body is Kane. I can't make fun of that, but still a intriguing feud on building Kane back up as a big red monster. Last week's segment of Kane taking out D-Body with the 3 tombstones. The once, twice, 3 times the tombstone served 2 purposes. 1, served to hype up this feud even more. It hyped up Kane as a big, uncontrollable monster. And 2, it served the purpose of winding out D-Body so he could mourn the death of his father, who died last Monday just before Raw went on the air. Once again, thoughts and prayers to Daniel's family. And D-Body is positive. And he is cleared by the doctors, and he is confident. Despite being attacked by Kane again tonight, he will be ready and ready to go for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match this Sunday. Extreme Rules match against Kane, and I don't think D-Body is going to lose. Do I think D-Body is going to retain this Sunday? I say a resounding yes. 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 He's not going to lose after a fucking month. Come on. Despite all that's happened with his dad dying and all that, come on. He knows his dad would say the old go on. You know, because D-Body was like, you go for the old, I'm still doing this because he wanted me to. Because my dad would have wanted me to. Going for that. So there you go with that. Now, on with the next scenario. Matchup. Next matchup, going. The Intercontinental Championship. Finals. The tournament to determine the number 1 contender for this Sunday in Extreme Rules. Speaking of Extreme Rules, take on Big E. We got OVD, Bob Van Dam, against BNB, Bad News Barrett. Now, I said on my wall preview today, my Attack Sports, that if Cesaro can't win it, BNB should win it. But both Cesaro and Swagger got involved in this matchup. In my mind, a lot of interference in this matchup. OVD won last week by a countout. They got distracted this time with the victory with a lot of distractions. Because early tonight, Cesaro and Swagger had a little fight. And then they were trying to make an ally. They, being Swagger and Coulter, trying to make an ally with RVD. Because RVD hates Cesaro and Heyman. You know, guilty by association. With Cesaro's case. But RVD said no to an alliance with Coulter and Swagger. So Swagger and Cesaro got involved in this matchup. And B&B, I think, needs a big push here. He's been through a lot of setbacks. Injuries. And all this stuff. And bad booking. And I think that B&B I said on my attack sports that the B&B gimmick is going on and is hitting its stride and it's catching on with the fans. But it was an okay matchup, but a lot of interference. Saul came in, Swagger came in, and Saul was the factor of RVD losing. As RVD would indeed try to go for that 5-star frog splash, Saul tripped him up. Enough time for B&B Bad News Bear to recover, to put his feet up before him, Ben's former guy, RVD would try to successfully nail the 5-star. And after he got this boot up, bam! Bull hammer elbow and a 1-2-3 victory for Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, going on to face Big E this Sunday at Extreme Rules. Should have known there'd be some interference. I wish I said it also last week and also in Attack Sports. I was thinking and hoping that Cesaro may be inserted in this matchup, making a triple threat. But it's still going to be a one-on-one affair. It will be Mr. B&B, Bad News Barrett, taking on Big E. And I think Wade Barrett will get the victory. But RVD wanted a little bit of revenge on Cesaro. Peter covers Cesaro post-matchup, still delivering that 5-star frog splash, and Cesaro was in the middle of the ring, so he flew from one side of the ring to the middle, where Cesaro was, and successfully nailed the 5-star frog splash, getting a little taste of revenge on Mr. Cesaro for getting involved and costing Mr. RVD the opportunity to face Big E this Sunday. We should know some screwy thing was going to happen between Swagger and Cesaro. I was hoping not, because it should be on B&B getting a push. But we'll see it be all about B&B this Sunday. Now, in the next matchup, the main event, involving Roman Reigns taking on Randy Orton. Now, this is Orton's hometown, St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, we had the other members of the Shield and Evolution respectively at ringside, hyping up the match this Sunday, with Rollins and Ambrose at ringside, and of course, Batista and Triple H at ringside as well. And I was reading on Twitter that Ric Flair was supposed to make an appearance tonight, and it's like, where's Ric Flair? Woo! Here he comes doing this situation. He came out, shook hands, and hugged with Evolution, because it's kind of weird to have this Evolution reunion without Ric Flair. But I don't think they need him. You know, he was kind of the mentor and stuff. But having Ric Flair in this segment tonight, right before the main event started, it was very intriguing to see these guys interact. And Ric Flair was kind of getting them over until he said that the Shield's his new favorite team now. They like the Shield now. That's kind of, that had to rub Evolution the wrong way, because Flair was a founding member of that team Evolution. So it's kind of a rub up the one way, and he used that as ammunition, as Orton would take on Reigns in our main event. But Reigns would take that attribute, that commitment to strategy, trying to take care of Orton fast and quick. So big power moves, the big running high knee from the middle rope outside the ring. I like that move that Reigns does. When he gets a guy underneath the bottom rope, and he goes outside the ring and does like a big high running high knee. I can't pronounce it right. Can't find the right words to say it. But as Reigns was taking control and even setting up for the big Superman punch, as he was getting control back after Orton came out with the big Heyman DDT and all that, a brawl erupted right as the Superman punch was being hinted. Batista and Triple H brawled outside the ring with Rollins and Ambrose. But as indeed, Reigns came out as well with that brawl going on. And he did deliver a Superman punch eventually. Getting into the brawl, causing, of course, a no contest with all 6 guys brawling outside the ring. And it was just an all-out brawl to end war, with all the Shield being annihilated early by Evolution, with Ambrose being nailed against the announce table, he taken out, then Rollins taken out. And of course, they isolated Reigns outside the ring, but then took him inside the ring as well. Really devastating triple team moves by Evolution. Just annihilating the Shield outside the ring, just building up the match even more, just really destroying him and looking really tough out there. With the spine buster outside the ring on one of the Shield members. And like I said, they brought back Reigns back in the ring, setting up the pedigree. But as Triple H was setting up that pedigree on Reigns Rollins got back up on the high top rope. Did a big top rope, big knee off the top rope. Nailed Triple H. And then, of course, the other two members, Reigns and Ambrose, came back to life. And a big spear from Reigns to Batista. And even tried to deliver the triple powerbomb to Triple H. But then Batista came in with steel chairs, getting Triple H out of harm's way. From the Shield were left standing tall, getting ready for the match this Sunday against Evolution, the six-man tag. There's still no stipulation. No War Games. Maybe at SummerSlam or at another pay-per-view. But still, six-man tag should be very intriguing to see what they call them now, the new Evolution, the Revolution, they say, the Shield, the Hounds of Justice, whatever nickname you want to give them, taking on, of course, Evolution. Should be an intriguing matchup this Sunday. And that is it for my WWE Raw review for this evening. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Once again, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Everybody, see ya. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.